Right guys, today we're back at it. We're on the Clk today. It's for a while had a weird problem, and I'll try and start it up and show you what that problem is. Right, so as you can see there, the rev counter only moves a little bit. It's not a lot, but through the feel of the car you can feel that the engine's running really quite lumpy. That's only like maybe 50 RPM, I don't know, 50 to 100 RPM. It's not a lot, it's moving by, but the feel through the car is quite different. And I have no codes for MAF sensor or anything. Did have an O2 sensor which can be triggered by a MAF sensor, but just in case we swapped out to another one, and it's still doing the same thing. We've even turned up the RPM on star, and it's still doing it. So today is going to be a bit of a interesting one. We're just going to try and look into the issue a bit more and try and figure out what it could be. Right, so as we look at it, I've taken the front cover off that's just sat there. Like I said in the diagnosis video for the camshaft actuator, mine is seeping, but that doesn't mean that it's failed. And when we did the test, it clearly showed that it worked, so I'm confident that it's not that causing the problem. What I think it is this down here. This is the tank vent valve. Now what it does is it takes the vapour from the fuel tank, recirculates it round back into the intake, so we're not venting fuel vapours to the atmosphere. Now the reason I think that's failing is because at the back of the car it smells of fuel, which would make me think that it's pressurising the fuel tank so the vapour's not escaping as it should and being recycled into the intake, and the smell does not come from the front of the car. So I am going to fire the car up and we're going to see if we can hear it clicking or anything. Like I say, I haven't got a code for this, but it doesn't mean it's not there. Sometimes these cars just don't throw a code. Also you can see here, that's where I had to sort of bodge repair the MAF sensor wiring. Now I'm not sure, so don't quote me on it. I think it goes round into the bottom of the intake manifold. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure this one out, but in case it's the throttle body, like I say, I've got a spare one in the car. I'll show a clip of that. So this is the throttle body. As you can see, this is the side that mounts to the intake manifold. This side is where the inlet pipe goes to. This one's off one of the spare engines. I think this is the one that the supercharger we did a video of Benz salvaging. I think it's off of that engine. Looking at the state of it, it's not pretty, but it works. So we're gonna maybe swap that over. I'm not 100% on that yet because I don't want to, like you can see this vacuum port on the side there. I don't want to go pull that off and end up splitting the rubber pipe, so I don't want to cause more problems for myself, but we'll see how we go. We'll have a look into it. I'm inside the car at the minute because it's freezing outside. So yeah, let's go and have a look under the engine bay. Yeah, I just don't want to damage this rubber here because the age of the car, everything goes all brittle. And I just don't believe it's the throttle body or injectors. So yeah, we'll fire it up and we'll see if we can hear it. So with the car running, that be clicking, which it is doing very slowly. I can feel it. I'm not sure whether the clicking increases with RPM, engine RPM, or not. Yeah, it speeds up with engine RPM. Interesting. Doesn't seem to, the pipe doesn't feel that fatigued. It's just feels like if you really pushed on it, it would split. It does feel brittle. And I can't really see anywhere else where there'd be a vacuum leak. It's pretty hard to see how rough the engine's running from me holding my phone. You can't really see, but it is quite lumpy. Even if I cover that, this won't be helping anything. There should be a pipe on that recirculates directly down there, which leads me to another issue common with these cars. Is this swirl pot vents straight into the airbox, post filter side, and then it all gets drawn through the supercharger, through the intake system, pulls up in the intercooler, and then sprays all over your MAF element. And that's why the MAFs are so common on these cars, because they get covered in oil and then you need to clean them. So the reason that I am doing this is because I know I'm not the only one with this fault. In fact, I'm trying to help someone on the SLK forum with the very same issue. I did find yesterday, day before rather, when I was looking into it and we had it on Star, the MAF wires had actually managed to make contact with, I think it's power steering pulley, and chafe through them a little bit. It hasn't gone through any of the copper, it had only gone through the sheath of the wire. So the resistance should be the same. If it does turn out to be something as silly as that causing the issue, we do have spare harnesses back at Benz anyway, so we will sort that if it is that. But I am more suspecting that it's something to do with maybe the tank vent valve, although I don't have a code, but I did have a code for fuel mixture from the O2. And that doesn't always mean the O2 is bad. More often than not, we've had that code when a MAF sensor's failed, but normally you get multiple misfires when a MAF sensor has failed and your car feels pretty sluggish. Again, that's been something that I've assisted a few people with on the forums recently, is the MAF sensors. But like I say, we've tried that. It's not the MAF sensor causing the problem. It remains. We've turned the idle up. It still remains. The ECU cannot compensate for whatever's going on, and it cannot smooth it out. So I'm going to have a look and I'll be back with you in a moment. Right, so with the car running, get my fingers out of the way. You can't really see it. It doesn't do it justice holding the phone. It's not too bad at the minute because the engine mounts are really good on this car. But that just means that it's transferred through the car, so you feel it more than you see it. But you can sort of hear it as well. You can hear it just sort of going pop, 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 pop. If I can take you around to the back side of the car, which I would if I went the right way. To be fair, it sounds alright there. Right, so that's it for part one of trying to figure out what's up with the SLK. I'm trying to bring you guys along for the ride because it's a problem I've had before, but I'm surprised if anyone's even still watching this to this point. But I'm trying to figure it out. once you figure it out, I'll be able to help you folks that have the same issue. But I want you guys to see what we have to do. We don't use the forums. We try and figure it out ourselves through normally trial and error. We do our best to try and track down the fault using our mechanical knowledge and electronics knowledge. In all honesty, I'm no electronics wizard. I should not be near wiring, and it's more likely to catch fire if I touch it. But stick with us on this one. It might be an interesting one. We may or may not get to the bottom of this. If we don't get to the bottom of it, oh well, the car still drives. It's just not great and down on power a little bit. Anyway, like and subscribe, guys. Thanks for watching, and stick around for the next part.